Okay, I have something to confess today, and I, a supposedly very responsible adult, I made a mistake and I packed the wrong going home outfit for my newborn son back then. So I'm not just talking about, wrong color, but I completely forgot that babies are not able to regulate their temperature. So if you're a first time parent, and especially if you're pregnant right now, you may make this mistake unless you watch this video now. Hi guys, and welcome back to AKA Mama, the space where I absolutely love talking about motherhood, raising children abroad, and generally real mom talk. Okay, so I know I'll start with a disclaimer. Today I was supposed to be talking about, how to create a birth plan, but in all honesty, I did not come around to doing it. And it's so important for me that when I do record this episode, that I already have the freebie on standby for those that are interested to download. So sorry about that, but it will come in a few weeks' time. But I remembered something. I was like, I need something to wrap up this mini pregnancy to newborn micro series. And then I remember something that happened to me. So I'm actually just going to paint the picture. All right, so at this point, I had filled out the forms to be discharged, agreed to leave hospital. My son's dad was going to get the car, and here I was excited, to dress the baby in that cute Instagram worthy outfit. So the nurse was standing next to me, of course, on standby to help if I needed help with anything. And then I pick out this outfit that I found absolutely so cute. And I remember the onesie that I had picked had a squirrel on it. So, I grab out this onesie and these pants, and then she looks at me, she's like, "Is that what the child is wearing to go home?" And I said, "Yes." And then she said to me, "I'm sorry, this is not enough. The baby is currently not able to regulate his own temperature. You're going to have to dress him warmer than that." So it was actually very hot outside. I was wearing a mini dress, and I was thinking, I actually wasn't thinking. I completely forgot the fact that babies can't regulate their temperature. And then she said to me, "Do you have a beanie in your bag?" So I took out the beanie, but the beanie was just clashing with the outfit. And she was like, "Okay, let's just go through the options that you have." And we ended up picking something completely different. So I had a long sleeved, long sleeved. So I had an outfit, long sleeved with legs. He had to wear socks, he had to wear mittens, he had to wear a beanie, and then we swaddled him up, and that was like what he went home in. And I was like, oh my gosh, that cute little outfit I had picked weeks in advance. Of course, he could have worn it at home, but that's not how I had envisioned it. But those of you that have been watching the videos that I share, you are absolutely aware of the fact that, I'm a bit granular. I do a lot of research. I want to know the pros, the cons, the advantages. Like with every decision, there's like some layer of research that's been done. But that's one thing I absolutely did not have on my radar. And I ended up, the baby ended up going home in a different outfit, which was absolutely not what I had envisioned. So yeah, for the obvious reasons, if it's cold, babies actually can't shiver to warm up. And if it's hot, they can't sweat so that they cool down and regulate their temperature. So you're basically a walking, talking thermostat. You have to think of those things on the baby's behalf. So I did do my research retrospectively, because you can imagine after that incident, I was like, oh my gosh, how do I keep this child dressed appropriately? All right, so what I found out is that you have to layer up. However many layers you're wearing as an adult, make sure the baby wears one layer more and then they're good. Choose the right fabric. My background is in textile engineering, so this one was a bit easy. But cotton so that it's breathable, and fleece so that it's nice and warm. Cover extremities, so hats and socks are your best, depending on whatever, the temperature is like. And the last tip I found, back then, this is just a brief summary. All right, so avoid overheating. So of course, too many layers when it's very hot is actually very dangerous. I know I just said, however many layers you have, the child gets one more. That's of course valid for when it's cold, but when it's blazing hot, it absolutely doesn't make sense. And my midwife did teach me one thing, because I was now paranoid about the child being too hot or too cold. So if you put your hand behind the child's neck, that is usually a very indicator of whether the child is feeling cold or whether they're feeling too warm. And often when they're feeling too warm, they'll even be sweating. But I found it absolutely helpful in winter, because sometimes I was like, can't tell is the child freezing or not. So when they are feeling cold, the back of their neck is a bit cold, then you know to layer up. Otherwise, that's a really perfect thermostat for babies. So circling back on that going home outfit, of course today most of my friends and family won't even remember what the baby was wearing when he went home. I remember, but most important thing is, of course, you can pick a cute outfit. Okay, everybody wants their baby to look cute, but just really make sure it was weather appropriate. For me, it was blazing hot outside, so I thought, okay, they can dress light. That is not the case. Depending on when you're due, you can also, look up what an ideal going home outfit is that is weather appropriate. That's something I didn't do back then. But I would also hope, like, what saved me in that instance was the fact that I had backup outfits. So just be flexible. You may realize that your child is not going home in that cute outfit you had picked, but I thought that it would be interesting to share this topic today because it highlights on something that I absolutely did no research on, and I was absolutely off and had to come up with an impromptu solution, and it worked. And I mean, parenting is a lot of impromptu solutions on the go. If you enjoyed my parenting fail/survival tip, hit the like button. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. And if you know any expectant moms out there, please don't hesitate to share this video with them so they don't find themselves in the situation. Of course, it's important and every mom wants their child to look cute, but just remember that that outfit should be weather appropriate so you don't end up like me. Thank you so much. See you next week.
Like, comment, subscribe, and share.